My full name is Charles Duvall, and I'm a K9 Handler for the Williamson County Sheriff's Office. So I've had my partner for 6 years now. He's almost 8 years old. His name's Cato. He's a Belgian Malinois. When I first got out of law enforcement, I worked in corrections for a little while and then went to the street and fell in love with K9. And I've trained hunting dogs my entire life, or almost my entire life. And it was kind of a natural thing to do, just to kind of fall in with a dog and go to work with a dog every day. I don't know, I look forward to going to work every day, and especially having him with me, it's fun because he kind of motivates me to go to work and makes it kind of enjoyable at work because I get someone to talk to and someone to kind of de-stress, I guess, with, and he's kind of always been there and always goes to work with me. So I don't know, every day I get to go to work with him is a good day. Kid calls are always the worst. So, I mean, kid cardiac calls, missing children, child sex assaults, child abuse, stuff like that. Those are always the worst calls. And unfortunately, just like every other law enforcement agency, we deal with them just as much as anybody else does. And those are probably the worst days, and those are kind of the hardest ones to kind of get back in the car and have a clear mind and get back to work. I collect a lot of patches, and a lot of them are canine related patches, but when I first started here, we had a sergeant and I was on his shift, and every time you had a good drug arrest or, went above and beyond and kind of solved a crime more than a normal person would, he'd give you a patch. So I started collecting his patches and kind of put them on the roof in here. And ever since then, I've started collecting my own patches and get a lot of canine patches and trade patches and stuff like that. So most of them all just go in here now. So we're currently in Georgetown, which is kind of the central city inside of our county. Our county spans almost 1,200 square miles. So it's a rather large county. And just for comparison, to get from one side of the county to the other side of the county going east to west, it takes about an hour and a half for a normal driver. So on K9, we work the whole county. We're not assigned to any kind of districts or anything like that. So we can be all the way out on the far western side of the county and get a call all on the far east side of the county and have to make it there. And it's a very large county. One of the biggest counties in Central Texas. So we're actually really fortunate in this county, and the majority of the citizens in this county support law enforcement, which is awesome. It makes our job way easier. But I look at every person in a different situation as its own, and I don't, they may have had a bad experience with law enforcement before, but when they're dealing with me, I try to make it as the best experiences I can for them and kind of change their perspective on everything. And most of the time it works, but you got to go to each call with a clean mindset and not hold anything from previous calls or anything like that when you go to the next call. I think that really kind of helps give everybody a clean slate and kind of change their perspective on everything. Because when you hold grudges, that's when you take out things on people that don't necessarily need to be taken out on. Outside of work, he loves to go running, hiking. We try to stay active as much as possible when we're off duty. And he actually keeps me motivated to go run and walk and go do that kind of stuff. He likes hiking. We're kind of limited as far as where we can go hiking because he is property of the county. So I have to, if I take him somewhere, I have to take him in this patrol car. So normally I'll do it like before I go on duty. I'll take him out, go for a walk, go for a run or whatever, and then we go to work after that. But at home, he's super relaxed dog. I have 2 other dogs at home. He plays with them. It's crazy. He has a really good on and off switch. So at work, he's this extremely hyper dog and loves to work and has a high drive. Some people call him spastic, and he is a little bit, but he does have a really good work ethic. But at home, he's completely opposite. He's laying on his bed in the house, or I'll go on the back patio and lay on the patio, or go in the grass and lay in the grass in the sun all day long. And people ask me all the time how he is at home, and I use this analogy all the time because he does it. He'll literally sit on the back patio and watch squirrels dig holes in the yard and doesn't even care about them. He doesn't chase them or anything like that. He just leaves them alone and watches them while they dig holes in the yard. But at work, if somebody even comes close to the car, he goes off, starts trying to rip the door off. So he's got a really good on and off switch from home to work life. So yeah, I mean, if you want to go for K9, I strongly encourage people. I think it's one of the greatest jobs, especially because you get to come to work with a dog every day. But it is when you get down to it, it's not for everyone. I mean, there's so much more into it than just driving around with the dog and sniffing vehicles and, biting bad guys and stuff like that. I mean, you have to be able to read the dog. You have to be able to tell his change of behaviors when he's alerting on narcotic odor, and also when he's tracking. You have to be able to read the dog and tell when he's in, we call it a proximity alert, when he gets close to a suspect, the dog throws a change of behavior, and that one day will save your life just by reading that dog. And not everybody has the natural ability or the learned ability to read a dog, but I encourage everybody that wants to do it to at least ride out with a K9 handler, at least see what they do on a day-to-day basis, and give it a go. And then, at the end of the day, if it's not for you, it's not for you. There's no consequences for defeat in the K9 world, but what we don't like in the K9 world is when people get into the K9 handler position and it's not for them, and they bring the dog down even further with them, and it brings the dog and the handler down, and neither is good for either of them. As far as law enforcement goes, I encourage anybody that wants to get into law enforcement to do a ride along first. That's how I got into it. And do it with multiple departments, and kind of ask them, what's good and bad here? What do you consider fun? What do you consider your worst day, your good days? And kind of understand what they do on a day-to-day basis before you even apply. And then if it is something that you want to get into, then absolutely apply for it. And you're going to go through an academy in Texas. We have a 6-month academy, depending on if you do it during the day full-time or you go at nights. Nights, I think it's 10 months if you go at night while you're still working, but it's worth it in the end. I mean, it's an investment towards your future, and it's a great career path. So when we get the dogs, we get them from all of the United States. He actually came from Chile. We get dogs from Europe, South America, Mexico. We get them from all over the world. And when we get the dogs, most of them come with the bite training aspect that we're looking for. We're just putting the detection stuff on them. So we're putting narcotics detection, tracking, article searches, building clearing, all that we put on them ourselves, just training with a reward-based type training. When we get them, they already have that bite work in them, or the training in them, and we get them, we put all that stuff on them. We send a handler down to a K9 vendor, and they will spend a month for a dual purpose dog, a month straight of training every day from 8 to 5. So 40 hours a week training the dogs. They do it for a month straight. They get certified, and they come back to the county and start working. And after that, the training never stops. We train a minimum of 8 hours of every week, and most handlers are training on their own. We train as a group for 8 hours a week every Wednesday, but after that, outside of that, all the handlers, we train with each other on our shifts. We'll train with patrol deputies as well, and so the training never stops with them. We try to do a little bit of training with them before shift or during shift, just to kind of get their mindset right and kind of just help build and progress with the dog. So every K9 handler carries a door popper, which actually will pop the passenger door for the K9 on the vehicles. We have had to use it one time, and it was actually Cato's first apprehension. It was a suspect with 5 felony warrants that took off running from us. We tracked him, and he continued to evade from us on foot, and so we jumped in cars and were able to find him 5 hours later, and he took off again on foot, and the only way I could get him was to hit the door popper. As I ran out of the vehicle, I hit the door popper, and Cato ran out of the vehicle too, and was able to actually apprehend him probably 150 yards from the vehicle. So it does have its purposes, and also he's trained to, if I hit that door popper and I have a suspect on top of me, fighting me, trying to kill me, whatever, he's trained to come and apprehend that suspect to get him off of me to help me survive. So I was originally a vet tech, an emergency vet tech for 10 years prior to I got into law enforcement. And I have a bunch of friends in law enforcement that love it and speak highly of it. And they kept telling me to go on a ride along, because I was contemplating the idea. And finally I went on my first ride along, and I got bit by the bug, so to speak, and I kind of fell into law enforcement and didn't want to do anything else after this.